Hi, everyone. Welcome to American English Pronunciation and Practice. My name's Christy, and today we're going to talk about business meetings. In this video, we will cover the important topics of the pieces or parts of a business meeting and their purpose, as well as very common idioms and phrasal verbs for business. So, if you are a professional that is looking to further your career, to be more understood, more respected in your place of work as an international business person, these are the kinds of vocabulary and phrases that you will want to master, as they will be common and they will make your English speaking clear for those that are working with you. So let's jump in and get started. First off, conducting a business meeting effectively involves several key parts, each serving a distinct purpose to ensure productive and organized discussions. Firstly, the preparation phase is crucial. This involves setting a clear agenda, distributing it to participants ahead of time, and ensuring all necessary materials and technology are in place. The opening of the meeting should include introductions, a review of the agenda, and a statement of the meeting's objectives to align everyone's focus. Next, during the discussion phase, each agenda item is addressed, with the meeting leader facilitating discussions, encouraging input, and managing time effectively to stay on track. Active listening and respectful dialogue are important here. Next, the decision making phase follows, where the group reviews options, discusses pros and cons, and makes collective decisions when necessary. Finally, in the closing, involves summarizing key points, assigning action items with clear deadlines, and confirming the next meeting date if applicable. In the post meeting, to distribute minutes or a summary of the outcomes would be necessary. So let's jump in and take a look at this key vocabulary in these different sections of a business meeting. Knowing these vocabulary are really going to promote your listening, your ability to catch these key important words, and also to use them effectively in business settings, in this case, business meeting settings. So the preparation phase, this is the first part of the preparation of all things ahead of time. Crucial signifies that this is of life importance for this phase. It cannot be left out. For example, water is crucial for human life. To ensure is to make sure of. An example here would be the travel agent ensured us she booked our airline tickets. And in the opening of the meeting, when the meeting will first begin, this is when you'll want to make introductions. And this, of course, is telling who is at or attending the meeting. And you'll also go over the objectives. Objectives are the goals to accomplish during this and next discussion. Review of the agenda, go over the list of topics to be discussed. All right, and let's continue. In the next discussion phase, this is the third phase of a business meeting. This is the time to share and exchange ideas as a group. So, noted to encourage input, this means to actively ask people to share their thoughts and ideas. Encourages to promote or to ask for participation. And number two, to stay on track is an idiom, very common, and this is not to lose direction. So you want to keep the meeting in the direction and without losing the discussion in off subjects, you would want to have it stay on track. In the fourth piece of a business meeting, this is the decision making phase. This was where you will come to final conclusions about ideas. Options mentioned here are possible choices. The example, there are many options of fruit in the grocery store. So in the discussion making phase, you will discuss options that were proposed. Pros and cons, these are positive things or factors, and also the negative. And collective here means made as a group. So the decision making phase will ask that there are collective ideas or feedback given, and this is the whole group instead of just the meeting leader or management, for example. And in the closing, this is the formal end of the meeting. There would be a summarizing, so addressing or saying again overall what has been discussed. And very importantly, action items will be noted. And these are topics that will be actively work on after the meeting, typically to be assigned. Post meeting, this is after the meeting has come to a formal end, but some additional steps would be necessary. And to distribute here is to give out to among all people or an area. So you would distribute the minutes being an itemized list and description of what was discussed and decided during the meeting, written in an outline form and likely to distribute to not just the attendees in the meeting, but all employees or relevant um, persons that need the information that was settled on on the meeting. All right, great. And I highly recommend that you go back and review the first slide that addresses in the outline form of a business meeting. And now that you've looked closely at the vocabulary, try to recognize it and understand it in its context, but also writing sentences, writing this information down will really cement that for you, and you will have it at your disposal. Your retention and also your ability to use it will be much more fluid. All right, so let's jump into the idioms and phrasal verbs that are used to talk about business in a business meeting. And knowing phrases and idioms will improve tremendously your ability to understand business topics, but English in general. We use a wide variety of both idioms and phrasal verbs regularly, and often these will be more likely used than the more formal or common or the general uh, verb or phrase. So if you are having a hard time, if you want to sound more native, this is the really area to focus in on. And so let's take a look at some of these idioms and phrasal verbs here. For example, during our recent business meeting, we hit the ground running by diving straight into the agenda. We kicked things off with a discussion on our current projects, which are gaining traction and showing great promise. The team brainstormed ways to streamline operations, aiming to cut corners without sacrificing quality. We also tackled the issue of customer feedback, agreeing to touch base with our clients more frequently to ensure we're on the same page. All right, so quite a list here of common idioms and phrasal verbs. Let's go through them one at a time. To hit the ground running, this is to start something and proceed at a fast pace with great enthusiasm. So you want to hit the ground running on this new project, get started with enthusiasm, energy, and get it off the ground. Another idiom, starting to put something into plan. Diving straight into, start doing something suddenly and energetically, often without stopping to think. So you're diving straight into a new business proposal without having possibly read all of the information about it, or possibly you just want to get started with the bit of information that you have, and you're just going to dive straight in. Number three is to kick things off. This is to begin an event or period of time, especially with an activity. So you would kick things off at a meeting, you would kick things off at an event, and generally anything that is really beginning its introduction and initiation, you are kicking things off. Number four, gaining traction. This is support or interest that is needed for something to make it a success. and that it shows progress. So if something is gaining traction, it's gaining more attention, it's gaining more positive um, quality, and so therefore it's becoming more viable. It's improving. And number five is showing great promise is something that would seem likely to be successful in the future. So, for example, a new employee or intern is showing great promise. They're starting out and showing signs that they are likely to be successful and really beneficial in the future for this company or whatever they may be invested in. And finally, number six is to brainstorm. This is to suggest a lot of ideas for a future activity very quickly as a group. So you might brainstorm some solutions to a common problem at a business meeting, asking for ideas from the group to come up with solutions. And number seven, to streamline, is to make an organization or system more efficient and effective by employing faster or simpler working methods. If you're streamlining a process, you're making it more simple and more easily from point A to point B, in that there's no wasted time, no wasted energy. Number eight is to cut corners. This is to save money or time when doing something by not including some parts, actions, or details. So it's not necessarily a positive but not necessarily a negative. Cut corners, you're taking shortcuts. And often it means that you are losing some quality or maybe completeness, but you might need to cut corners for some reason. And number nine is tackle the issue. This is to deal with it in a very determined or efficient way. So to tackle something like in American football, you get on top of it and you take it down. So you need to tackle the issue, get it solved, get a solution with great energy and effectiveness. And number 10, showing great promise is to seem likely to be successful in the future, as we said, and to be on the same page. This is thinking of the same idea. So if your management or your colleague is on the same page, they really have the same viewpoint on whatever topic or subject this is. This is to be on the same page. You're looking at the same information, you're looking at the same ideas, and you're in agreement as to what you see. Wonderful. And so, thanks for joining today. This is a series of business topics, and today's business meetings, mastering those key vocabulary points and really common phrasal verbs and idioms, are going to propel your English level and propel your ability to not only understand, but to be understood, incorporating these phrases, recognizing them in a business setting is going to advance your ability to really feel like you are part of the international team when attending meetings in English and being part of international teams. So, subscribe, find a link for a free pronunciation guide below in this video. And if you would like to meet with me one on one for a lesson in both pronunciation or in these really essential business topics, I do teach business English and I do teach American English pronunciation. I've been doing this for over 15 years, and I would love to see you in a one on one classroom. Thanks so much. See you in the next video. Have a great day.